and welcome back to Priestess Life, what it means to be a priestess in modern day times. My name is marionbrigantia and I am a full-time priestess. And in the other episodes of this series, I talked a little bit about who I am, how I became to be a priestess, about the trainings, how to interact with your family, your friends. And this time I thought I'd tell a little bit something different. And the thing that inspired me to do so is really the joy of what I have encountered this week. This week is the start of Samhain, what is out in the world also known as Halloween, the time that's also known as the Day of the Dead in places like South America. It is the Celtic New Year. And it is a great festival, and I think that's what I really want to talk about today is how the tradition of goddess and how being a priestess is very much a celebration of life. So I'll just tell you a little bit about what I've done this week. So this week I have been changing my altar. I like making an altar, and it's part of my practice to make an altar for each season. And this time I made the altar images for everything to do with Samhain, everything to do with the ancestors, with death, with the last harvest. So to make an altar is really a practice, but it is an outer expression of what happens within and what happens in nature. So my altar is very important for me because it's like a focus point. I got my altar here in my office, and I light a candle. I light incense. I do my prayers. I change the altar. I change the water on the altar. Sometimes I put new flowers on it. So it's very much part of my life, and through that I am making connection with Goddess, and through that I make a connection with my inner life. So it helps me to focus. It helps me to inspires me. It's really part of my daily practice. And from that place, I feel inspired to work. I feel inspired to create. Um, and sometimes I stand in front of my altar and I drum and I sing. So it's really quite a focus point. And I will I'll put some pictures of my altar that I just changed in this video so you can see what I'm talking about. Also, I love making altars. It's one of my favorite things. It's really creating beauty, and beauty is very much the world of Goddess. So beauty is a healing aspect of Goddess. So that was one of the things I did this week. The other thing I did was prepare for the ceremony of the temple, the Samhain ceremony. This time it was prepared by one of my priestess sisters, B, and she is a priestess of Caratwin, and she had prepared this season that is very much connected with Caratwin. But I was one of the priestesses who, what we call, was holding a circle, was ceremonial, who called in. So we had a meeting first this week where we meet and where we talk through the ceremony and see if it feels right and how the ceremony would flow, and if people could really engage with it, because it is a public ceremony. So it is a service from the priestesses of the temple here in Glastonbury to the public. And especially in Samhain, it's incredibly busy in Avalon, in Glastonbury. So we have to prepare for lots of people in the hall. We have to know that people don't always speak the language. So it's really, there's a lot of things to think about. And then, of course, it's the intention of the ceremony. So we talked about that on Monday, and then after that we had just a really nice celebration of the birthday of one of the priestesses. It's very lovely to do all this. Then this week that is not related to Samhain, I was preparing with Katinka for the the going live of the Goddess Conference website. So today, on the 1st of November, the conference website has gone live, and first tickets are for sale for next year, 2019 website conference. The website is live. So so we have meetings. We look through what we need to say. We see if all the information on the website is right. Our web woman Sarah, who is an Italian priestess. So we work quite internationally, and we had a Skype session, or I think I had a Skype session with Sarah to talk through it. We have a connection with people who do the ticketing, so it's a real connection. Oh, and on Tuesday as well, before this meeting with Katinka, I had time in the temple, and this time again, as I said, in Solwyn, it's very busy in town, so it was a lot of people came to the temple, and the temple is really dark. It's really sitting with the dark mother in the temple this period, this season. So a lot of people came and sit in the dark and really sit with their emotion, with their intention for the new year, whatever they want to come for. So this time a lot of people wanted to be smudged. And smudging is again a beautiful service to people, and it is so you smudge. I don't know if you know what it is. So you smudge with incense, and we have like beautiful feathers in the temple, and we cleanse people. We take away all the things, all their thoughts, all their negative energy, give it to the earth, and then give them a blessing of air, of to take them forward into the new year. And a lot of people were there, and it's such a beautiful thing to do. It's really touching. People get really emotional, and I think this is one of the things that I really like about modern day priestesses, that it is very real. So we're here really to hold people, to guide people, to help people on their path, including ourselves. I mean, it's a constant learning, but it's a beautiful service to the people, and service to Goddess. Because of all this, it is really bringing out Goddess into the world, and I think that is one of the things that is most important for me as a modern day priestess, is that Goddess is still so hidden in the world. She is not really on the forefront, and people who don't know, they don't know who she is. They have never experienced the divine feminine within or without. So it's a beautiful thing. And people, like again, this Tuesday, people came into the temple and they just start crying. And why? Because they're so touched by the energy, by the beauty, by the atmosphere in the temple. And they come into a place that maybe there's a remembering, maybe it's just a longing, a yearning for something else, something that is loving and holding. And that is what we provide. So then the rest of the week is really about preparing for my training weekend, because this coming weekend we have a training weekend for the first year of the Priestess Life training. And this year I've got 12 people in my group, and we're going to work with the crone and with breach of air. And so there's lots of things I have to prepare for. I have to look if I have all the material. I look through the homework. I also send out emails to my online students and give them feedback on the other work. So all this is all part of this changing of season. It's like every 6 weeks there is a flourish of activity where people contact me and I contact them, and there's things to do in town, and then it kind of calms down a little bit, and there's things just to do, emails to answer, things to write. I'm writing my book at the moment, so there's always things to do, but especially in these weeks like Samhain, like Yule time, like in bulk, all the seasons that I had, there is a real celebration and a real um, peak of activity in my priestess work. So I just wanted to share that with you this week. Next week I will go into another few of your questions, but just to give you a flavor of what a week of a modern priestess looks like. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, let me know, and I hope to see you next week. Bright soul and blessings.